Saturday story time. And I've been telling you about the building that we bought in a small town that had been deserted. And this is where I start journaling. And so I'm going to read just a little bit and tell a little bit. There seems to be so much happening, and yet it seems so slow as we wait for moving day to arrive. I think there was about a 50-day wait, which seemed like a long, long time. Our home sold on New Year's Day, but the signing of the papers didn't take place until the 6th of January. And the market at that time was very bad. And so many people didn't think we'd be able to sell our home. And we did, without even trying. Never a sign on it or an advertisement for it, and it sold. And that happened in the first week of January. Well, the second week of January, by this time, the two older children have married and flown the nest in different directions. So we knew we were leaving, and it would be easier now if we visited before our move than afterwards. So we went to California to visit our daughter and son-in-law. That's the second week. The third week, and I'll try to show you at the end of the video, we had a craft sale. That's how we were making a lot of our living at that time. And we had one more to go to. It was on the Oregon coast. It was a very good location and sale. And I had decided that I was going to make $500 worth of what I'll show you. And they all sold. And it was just amazing because I'd made some children's sizes, and women were, if they could get them on their head, they were buying them. So they all sold, whether they sold to children or women. Okay, then the last week is we had a family dinner. Now, obviously, our two older children weren't there, but our two youngest boys were there, and they had come. And they were helping us move, but we had this dinner together, and and they came with friends, and everyone that came brought some food with them. Matt's friend Carolyn brought her banana bread. Matt brought, our youngest son, brought a crab salad. Rob, the boy's friend, and Craig both came with ice cream, and then I fixed the dinner. Now, what I want to tell you about this dinner is we did something a little bit different. In Genesis 15, God relates a story, relates an event concerning Abraham. At that time, he wasn't called Abraham, he was called Abram. But God makes a covenant with Abraham. And in this covenant, God used something that was common. Other people were making covenants in this way. And it was concerning animals. And over the years, it got changed just a little bit. And so the last we know of this covenant, I think the Chinese were still using it during the gold rush time and when they came over and worked so hard on the railroad, putting the tracks in. And what the covenant involved, they had a tapestry, and now the one back in Genesis was not like this, but the modern one, so to speak, it had a cock on this tapestry, and they'd tear it in half. The original one, it was animal. Anyway, it was torn in half, and each part that was making the covenant would take a half with them. And it was so, and I think it was called the love covenant. I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But if either parties needed help, they could take their tapestry, and if it matched that tapestry, you were obligated to help them. Even if, let's say, I had a half and I finally die, it goes to neighbor's son. If that person came and it matched neighbor's son tapestry, he would be obligated in the name of us to help him, that person that had the other half. And so this is how it was. Well, in the original story, God did both halves. He wanted that covenant to stand, be an everlasting covenant. He did both parts. Okay, anyway, so what we did at the dinner, I had made placemats. They weren't this, but I'll show you. And we all had the same kind. And after the dinner, I told them the story, and each one took a placemat home. And I said, now if you show up at our door, you'll get a dinner and you'll get whatever help you need. And over the years, I've only seen 2 come back. Seen 2. They still have, I don't know what happened to them actually. But, and then when they came with them, it was just a fun time. And so that was nice. But now to go on with my story, and that was the dinner. That's what we did. Then on January 25th, 1985, at 9 o'clock in the morning, neighbor's son drove away from our Oregon home for the last time. Tom and I walked slowly back into the kitchen, hugged one another, and cried. Matt and his friend Carolyn, who had come that morning for breakfast to watch this event, they ran to their old tree house, hugged each other, and cried. Craig's leaving signaled the time to pick up our boxes and pack. We'd spent the last few days of the month picking up objects from their old familiar places, wrapping them carefully in tissue, and snugly tucking them into their boxes. I don't know if you can hear my chickens, but there's one right over there. They're getting closer to me. Whenever we get through with one of our craft shows, we pack up the leftover wares, fold the table covers, then the table, and last we fold up our little house booth. The show is over. We must pack up, leave, and go home. Well, this show in this home that we were in, it lasted almost 12 years. It had been a good show. We enjoyed it. We had seen our 4 grow and go. Yes, it had been a good show, but now it's time to pack up and go back home to Idaho. So next set. So this is the bonnet. This is what I made. And I made some, this one, I made a dress that matched it. And so that's what I made. And they're sort of cute. I always made one for my mother for years because she liked to garden in it because it helped protect her neck. And there you have it.